You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Wednesday, midway point of the week, LSU getting ready for Arkansas. Just did a hit with my buddy Wes Moore up there in Little Rock, and his co-host was asking me, where does the Arkansas rivalry rank for LSU fans? Like, man, I'm not trying to poke you or anything. It doesn't. Ole Miss, Alabama, Florida, Auburn, Texas A&M, like all of those games mean more to LSU fans, the collective fan base, than Arkansas. But it doesn't matter because Arkansas loves this game and they always play you tough. You went there 2 years ago and you're coming off the win against Bama. KJ Jefferson was hurt, remember? They played Malik Hornsby, and then they wound up going to the next guy. They ended up playing like their 2 and 3 quarter. Anyway, point is, like, that still ended up a 13-10 ball game. They always play you tough. So you better be ready. And Brian Kelly, when he met with reporters on the SEC teleconference, talked about the preparation this week for his LSU football team.
That's really the most important thing for us, is preparing for our next opponent. And we got a chance 24 hours to enjoy the victory against Ole Miss, but, we're playing a really good opponent, well coached. They play hard. They're playing great defense, offensively, very diversified, and it's going to be a great challenge on the road in the SEC. Last 4 games have been decided by 3 points or less, one way or the other. So we know what's in store for us as we head up to Fayetteville.
The receiver availability is going to be something to watch for certain. This is an Arkansas defense that the defense hasn't been great, but the scoring defense in conference play has been good for Arkansas. They went to Auburn and held. Now, Auburn is not a very good team. I think we understand that. But they went to Auburn and held Auburn to 14 points on their home field, beat them 24-14. They played Texas A&M at Jerry World. They lost 21-17. And then they played Tennessee on their home field, held Tennessee scoreless in the first half, and then ended up winning 19-14, held Tennessee to just 14 points. So this is an Arkansas defense that in conference play, their scoring defense has been pretty good. And this is an LSU offense that has struggled to run the ball. So we all know if you're struggling to run the ball, you are going to have to make sure that your passing game is as efficient as possible. Well, having your passing game as efficient as possible would certainly help if you had your full complement of receivers. And that starts with C.J. Daniels. Brian Kelly gave an update on the transfer from Liberty who missed last week's game with a meniscus.
Daniels practiced and looked good. So, I would say we're going to, probably list him as probable for Saturday.
He didn't play against Ole Miss, as you remember, but I want to point something out about C.J. Daniels. He may not be your flashiest receiver, and I understand that, but he was a 1,000-yard receiver at Liberty, and internally, they also consider C.J. Daniels their best blocking receiver. So while Daniels and Kyron Lacey, as far as their physicality, their skill set, are very similar, they want C.J. Daniels on the field. 2 games ago against South Alabama, Daniels was on the field for 51 snaps. I mean, you look at, and again, that was a game where you were able to empty the bench a little bit. Kyle Parker also played 8 snaps in that game. Kyron Lacey had 50 snaps in that game. Look at a game like UCLA or even South Carolina, which was a more competitive game for LSU. Aaron Anderson was one of your starters, played 39 snaps. Kyron Lacey played 61 snaps. C.J. Daniels played 74 of the 79 snaps. They trust C.J. Daniels to know the route concepts, to block. Again, he's got the best drop rate on the team, meaning he has the fewest drops. He catches the ball when it's thrown his way. So Yes, that's a guy. He's got 20 catches through the first 5 games, averaging 4 a game. It would be a tremendous boost having CJ Daniels in some form available for this football game. The one that we've talked about all year that we'll continue to talk about, I guess, until we don't have to talk about it anymore is Chris Hilton, and Kelly was asked for an update there as well.
Chris was able to do some individual work. His is a day-to-day situation, so he's still questionable, but we're trending in the right direction there.
He's been day-to-day since the beginning of the season. I don't have anything else to add with Chris Hilton until we see him play. Y'all know how I feel about it. It sucks for the young guy who has waited this long for his opportunity. Was having a great camp, gets injured in the last Saturday of fall camp, and now has missed half of this season where it was supposed to be a great breakout. But his skill set is something you need because his skill set is something you don't have in your other receivers right now, except for maybe Shelton Sampson. That's the ability to stretch the field. You don't have that. Xavion Thomas, and Aaron Anderson are essentially the same guy. Kyron Lacey and CJ Daniels are essentially the same guy. That's why we talked about the need to get someone like Trey Green at receiver, because he gives you something different. Chris Hilton, Shelton Sampson would give you something different as well. And if they don't trust Sampson right now, then you're just waiting on Hilton to come back to have your stretch the field guy. We'll see if that happens this week. But again, until it does, I don't have any reason to tell you it's going to happen until it does, because I thought it would have happened by now. And then the big one on the other side is Taylon Green, Arkansas's quarterback, who Brian Kelly on Monday said, look, as far as straight line speed, he's the fastest guy they're going to face all year. Injured his knee against Tennessee in the fourth quarter, didn't finish that game. Good timing for Arkansas where they had the open date last week to get him healthy. Sam Pittman said he was kind of doing something on Monday when he met with reporters. He was doing some things. He was practicing lightly. They have a better idea on Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, Wednesday, the teleconference comes. Here was the update on the Arkansas quarterback from Sam Pittman.
I have been encouraged about how he's practiced. He's still not full speed yet, but we certainly think there's a possibility that he can get there. We'll have to wait and see there. Obviously, we have 2 more practices and a walk, but have been encouraged about his progression this week.
Bottom line is, if Taylon Green sprained his knee against Tennessee, and they haven't come out and disclosed what the injury was, but you could see it and know some degree of what he's dealing with, okay? And that's a guy who relies on his mobility, straight line speed, and his ability to change directions. If he isn't full speed, that is a major boost for LSU for a lot of reasons. Number one, obviously, his game-breaking ability with his feet, because we've seen that. I mean, you don't need me to run through it again, but we saw Colin Guggenheim have a 67-yard touchdown run. We saw Sanders and Sellers from South Carolina have a 66 and 75-yard touchdown run, respectively. Last week, Ulysses Bentley, 50-yard touchdown run. That's where LSU has been susceptible. The big play in the running game. Taylon Green gives Arkansas that threat, along with Jaquindon Jackson, their running back, who's also very good. Jaquindon Jackson he's been really good. He's carried 99 times for 566. He's averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. Their running game is very good, and Taylon Green's a big part of that. If he's limited or unable, that's a major boost for LSU. Also, the same thing we saw last week with Trey Harris. They injected him. While he couldn't feel his ankle, he was pretty good in that first half, wasn't he? Happy juice wore off, got a little colder. All of a sudden, he's limping around. He can't move anymore. He finishes the game in sweats, sitting on the bench watching. It's just you caught a break, and you may catch another one this week with Taylon Green. We'll see how he looks when you get out there on Saturday night and you start running around, which is probably going to be a pretty cool night in Fayetteville. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.